Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Turing 10 minutes. All right, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to solve a question on absolute values with less than inequalities. All right, so I'm going to introduce the 5 rules, okay? The 5 rules to solving absolute values with inequalities. So for instance, we have, let's say we have 3x minus 1 less than 5, for instance. And you were told now to solve this question. And how do you solve it? So I have 5 rules to take note of. Okay. So what is the first one is that you have to equate the function on the left-hand side to both the positive and negative answer on the right. Okay. So for instance, so one, equate the function. Okay. Equate the function on the left-hand side to both the, let me see if I can divide the screen. So to both the positive and negative answer on the right. On the right hand side, okay? All right, so for example, in this example we have, so we had 3x minus 1 was less than 5. So you're going to equate it to both the positive and the negative. So it's going to give you 3x minus 1 is equal to 5, or 3x minus 1 is equal to minus 5. And that is it. Step 1 done. Now, the second part is then what you have to do is that you have to solve equation to find x, okay? The next thing that you have to solve the equation. To find x. So now we have 2 equations here. We have the 3x minus 1 is equal to 5. We have 3x minus 1 is equal to minus 5. So I'm going to solve both of them here. So I'm going to solve them side by side. Okay. So to get x, so I'll take 1 to the other side. So we have 3x is going to be equal to 5 plus 1, right? Then divide both sides by 3. So therefore, my x is going to be equal to 2. So this cancel each other. The same thing, I take 1 to the other side. So it's going to be 3x. It's going to be equal to minus 5 plus 1. And I divide both sides by 3. And my x is going to give me, this will be minus 5 plus 1 will give you minus 4. So minus 4 over 3. So you can leave your answer in fractions. That will be fine. And I'll give minus 4 over 3. Second step, done. Now, if you've not watched my previous video, you need to go back and review it. What I told you that when you have less than, it has to be in the form of minus a less than x less than a. Okay, sorry. Yes, minus a is greater than x, but less than a. So you have to then write, because we're dealing with less than in this question. So you need to leave your answer in the form of that same equation we gave. So because it's less than in this, so that means you're going to write your answer in the form of, so you write your answer in the form of minus a less than x less than a. So you don't need, you have to remember this, okay? So remember, so where a is the lowest and a is what? The highest, right? Okay. So keeping this in mind now, we can then solve this. So because now we have it, so we have minus 4 over 3, so it's going to be minus 4 over 3 less than x less than a. Then the other part is the step 4 is usually to test to confirm if x equals to 0 is part of the solution, but you can also see it from the graph as well. But the step 4, usually in most questions, you can stop at this point here. But in some questions, they might ask you to test if 0 is part of the solution. And some questions, they might ask you to draw the graph. So that's the reason for step 4 and step 5. So step 4 now is to test to confirm. Okay. So it's to test to confirm by testing if x is equal to 0. So usually they want to know if x is part of the solution. So basically you just go back to the original equation. So the original equation we had here, which was 3x minus 1 less than 5. So you just come back here, you just put it 3x minus 1 less than 5. Substitute x equals to 0. So it's going to give you 3, 0, minus 1 less than 5. Now, when you do this, it's going to give you 0, minus 1. It's less than 5. The modulus of minus will always give you plus, right? So that means 1 is less than 5. So 1 is less than 5, so therefore 0 works, okay? So 0 works, so 0 is part of the solution, okay? Then the last one is step 5 is where you are told to graph it. So now graphing the function is basically if you want to see if the solution by inequalities, so basically you're just trying to see the solution graphically, all right? So step 5 is to just graph the function, all right? So if you've not reviewed the video on how to graph, it's a very good point to do that, all right? So in graphing, it's very easy to know where the value is just by equating the modulus to be equal to 0. Is that okay? So just equate the modulus to be equal to 0. And when you do that, you can now see where it should be, where the point is. So for instance, I'm going to do the graphing in the next page just to have more space. So for instance, we had 3x minus 1 was less than 5, okay? So the first thing I can do is to show this on the number line. We've already agreed that it's minus 4.3, minus 4 over 3, and a, sorry, I shouldn't have put a here. I should have put the answer to be 2, okay? So here should be 2, not a. Yeah, here should be 2. So we've already agreed that x is greater than minus 4 over 3 and less than 2. So in the number line, if this is minus 4 over 3, so this is minus 4 over 3, and this is 2. So therefore here is going to be 0, okay? So with this now, we can easily draw the graph. So usually what we do is that you equate absolute value to be equal to 0. The essence of this is usually to get where the y-intercept, because at x-intercept, y is going to be 0. So that means this function is going to be equal to 0. So that means 3x is going to be equal to 1 over 3, okay? So with that now, I can now come and draw the graph. So I know that it is minus 4 over 3. I know it's going to be 2. Then we said this is 0. So minus 1 over 3 is going to be here. So from this point now, let me make it a little bit to scale to make a bit more sense. So we have this. So we have minus 4 over 3. So this is going to be, that's about 1 point something. So this is going to be 0. Then this is going to be 0.33. So this is going to be 1 over 3. And we can now have 2 should be somewhere here. All right. So that means we're going to have the value around like this. Okay. So what it's saying is that when you draw the graph, the point that is going to meet is going to meet like this at this point here. Okay. So that is at this point here, because it's at y is equal to 5. Can you see? So this is 5. So we're looking at less than. So less than means that the solutions are any of these values here. So that means these ones here are not part of the solutions. Okay, the solutions are only this part here. So between greater than -4/3 and less than 2. Can you see? And that's how you do it. And that's how you solve questions with inequalities. All right, so I'm going to just pick one more example just to solve it again. Then we'll call it a day for this video here. So let's say I have a question on x minus 1 less than 3. So remember, I told you the first rule, you have to equate it to both positive and negative. So you're going to equate this to both positive and negative. So it's going to be x minus 1 is equal to 3. And you're going to be x minus 1 is equal to -3. Okay? Then you find x, you take -1 to the other side. So it's going to be x is equal to 4. And x is equal to -3 plus 1. That'll give you -2. Okay? Then when you're done with that, I told you that you don't have to write the equation in this form because it's less than. Remember the key word here is because it's less than. So you put the lowest number out and the highest number there. So if you look at this, the lowest is -2, less than x, less than 4. That's the answer. Now you can also want to check with 0 and make it substitute 0 to see if 0 works or 0 is a part of the solution. So you can now put x minus 1 less than 3, put 0. So 0 minus 1 less than 3. We have -1 less than 3. Absolute value of -1 is going to give you 1. 1 is less than 3. And because 1 is less than 3, 0 what? Works. So 0 is part of the solution. All right. Now the next thing as well is that you want to find you want to graph it as well. So as usual, to get the point of intersection, x minus 1 is equal to 0. The inequality is equal to 0. So x is going to be equal to 1. So that means if you want to draw it, so that means you're going to have, if this is 0, this is going to be 1, this is going to be 2, this is going to be 3. And we have up to, the answers we had was 4, up to 4. So it's going to be 3 all the way to 4. Then we have -1, -2. The point of intersection is 1. So it's going to be something like this and something like this. And again, you have to check at 3. So let's assume this is 3 here. So 3 will do all the way to here. So you'll see the answer will be like this. So this is the, you can call this is the y-axis. And this is the x-axis, depending on how you want to do it. And you see that this is at y is equal to y at 3, less than 3. So because we're doing less than 3, the answer is going to be here. And outside this is not going to be part of the what? The solution. All the answers are going to be less than. So it's from this point all the way to this point. So that means all the solutions are going to be here. And that will be the answer for that. Okay. All right. So I think I'll call it day here. Next video, I'm going to solve more example in the next video. As usual, if you have any question, feel free to send me an email or you can drop it in the comment section and I'll get back to you. All right. Thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next video.